Hello, I'm Lilac, and this is how I make rosaries. I use glass beads, wires, jump rings, 2 sets of pliers, and these 1 pliers that make jump rings. I take pieces of wire and I make like a long strip. I don't make it too big because sometimes it's hard to use if you make them too big, and I flatten out as best as I can. Then I take the bead and I put it on the wire, and I use my like circle making pliers. I'm sorry, I don't know what they're called. And I make 1 loop, and then I flip it and I cut maybe like an inch, if that, off, and then I turn that into a loop as well. It'll look something like this. I'll show you another example in a second. Um, when you make them, the loops don't have to be parallel to each other. It doesn't really matter once you go to connect them with each other. It's just as long as you have 2 loops. This is what it will look like. I use about 52 so I can have a longer rosary. The longer you want it, the more beads you want to use. The shorter you want it, the less beads you want to use. But 52 is about the average. Then to connect them, I take these jump rings. The smaller the jump ring, the harder it's going to be to connect. The bigger the jump ring, the little easier it's going to be. But remember, the bigger the jump ring, the longer the rosary is going to be. So keep that in mind. First, I open the jump ring. This is what it looks like open. Sorry, it's not really in focus. And then I take 2 of the beads to start with, and I'm struggling, but you get them on there, and then you close the jump ring, and then from there you just add another ring. Hold on. You add another ring, and you add 1 more, and you just put them all together. But remember to leave 5 beads to the side, because you're gonna need to connect it in a different area later. It'll make sense when it gets to there, but make sure you put 5 beads to the side. I also forgot to mention, you're gonna want to have a centerpiece and a cross for the versions that I make. There is ways to make it where you don't have the centerpiece, where you just connect it and then you connect the longer part, but I always use a centerpiece personally. To connect the centerpiece, you take 1 side of the rosary and you put it on a jump ring, and then you take the centerpiece and you connect it. The centerpiece has 3 entry areas, so it should be pretty self-explanatory. And then from here, you take the 5 that I told you to keep to the side, and you add that to the centerpiece, and you add your cross onto the bottom of that. This is what they look like in the end. These are some bracelet rosaries I also made as an example if you don't want a super long rosary. Thank you, bye!